Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tough Lift Podcast. It has been a week. Took a week off. I had a good time on the last one, so just wanted to kind of soak in it. But I'm not gonna lie, I got triggered today and yesterday and a few days, and this is going to be a rant. Nothing more than a rant. And I by no means am bashing anyone or attacking anyone's business models or anything. I'm just going to talk simple truth from a perspective of somebody that entered the training space before social media became the heavy medium of the training space. So I've lived both worlds. I wasn't like 75% growing up like some of the older coaches than me in non-social world. I'm also not like some of the younger coaches where everything is on social. And this is the rant on social media. So episode 34 is called The Social Nightmare. Okay, now some backstory. What triggered this is what we'll call it triggered is I made a post, and I make posts for people to read and get something out of. I by no means want to be ultra popular fucking weightlifting coach, man. I don't have the time for it. What I want to be able to, just like this podcast, is to put out content that people read and they get something out of. They ingest quality content, basically. It's the whole reason I do it. It's why I bring on doctors. It's why I bring on physical therapists. It's why I bring on athletes of all levels, coaches of all levels. Is I want people to get something out of this that is worth their time. So effectively not doom scrolling, just watching otter videos and Lego Star Wars. But anyways, so I made a post that was talking about some things I've realized in my coaching career and in the intent for others to get something out of it. And so I put up the 4 slides. It's like 7 a.m. I do them sitting on my couch. Then I write up in the section some thoughtful stuff on these topics that hopefully someone will read and get something out of. And number 4, ironically, slide 4 is talking about how the secret to marketing is actually you just being a good coach. People will follow you. People will spread by word of mouth, and or your work will show what you do if you're just a good coach. Even if you're a beginner coach, I've always said this, if you show your athletes you're working with that you will put the time and the energy and effort into them, they will reciprocate that and stick with you, understanding you're also learning through these stages. And then the write out at the bottom was literally for slide number 4. It said forward dot. And then there was a whole explanation of like, fuck social media. I hate it. It's a necessary evil. 75% of my time is going to go into anything else. And then 25 maybe percent of my effort goes into social media. Unfortunately, that's just where the world has gone to a degree, to stay afloat as a business. So I post this, and I get 4 messages. I get two DMs / text messages, and I get 2 messages on the post. Literally talking about a typo that I made on the slides. The typo was literally also card table, TAB, I think it was LKE or something. Like, I fat fingered something while on my phone on Canva, which if you've ever used it is not great for phones. And anyone that knew the post and knows English would have known I was saying the word card table. The world was okay. The great irony of this is that nobody read. I asked the people if they actually read the post. I reached out to a few of them and they didn't. For whatever reason, like, I get it. People are like, they're jiving through life or whatever. But the great irony of the situation is that I made a post, a section of the post, literally talking about how social media is way too overweighted and just overutilized, and it's not actually providing what should be the focus, which is quality coaching. and actual real good relationships with their athletes that develop them both mentally and physically, et cetera, et cetera. And instead I got proofread, and none of the thoughtful material I typed up got read. And this brings us to today, because this is a multitude of posts that have gone on, or things that like I've just talked about with other coaches in the social media world. And social media is probably one of the best / most poisonous things that has happened to the world of Olympic weightlifting, hands down. When I came into the sport, I came from a background of getting involved in CrossFit back, and some of you guys, this is going to be a story, like some of you guys don't even know, but CrossFit OG website, you'd go to main site for your workout, and it was a blue on blue font and text, like background color combination. It was awful. And then there was just a forum where you typed words and you would post your times, and you could like comment to other people and like talk to them in there. And that was it. That was the material. That was the workout. That's what you got. And that was the comments. There was no pictures, video, no jack dudes glistening in sweat. There was no booty shots. There was none of that crap. It was just, this is the workout. Go do it. Post your time. And like, don't worry, the comment section was plenty toxic. There was people calling each other out. There was wild text on text troll fighting of like, you motherfucker, you cheated, blah. And it's like, guys, this is literally all of us on a text format calling each other out on fake times that we don't even know who each other are. And your honesty was your integrity. That's basically if you got ahead. And it was great. It was great workouts, great website. It did the job. Now fast forward, like, that started a whole thing. I don't need to go down the rabbit hole that is CrossFit and the explosion that it took off to where we are now. And all I have to say is that, like, on that is that we went from an environment where it was work to where now it's show, is how I really feel what it is for a majority of things. And unfortunately, this paradox has led to a lot of poisonous mentality for our athletes and our coaches alike mentally. And that's like the deeper meat and potatoes I want to talk on today. Now, the good side really does need to be brought up, because it allowed weightlifting in particular, in my strong opinion, to be seen again by the masses. And then also, like, it brought it out to where lots of people were getting exposure easily to it because of CrossFit gyms. So the two things I say all the time that basically, in my opinion, saved weightlifting is really CrossFit and the internet, which is ironically the same two things. Well, one of them I'm going to bitch about today is you had lots of exposure, lots of people seeing different lifting going on, good lifting, bad lifting, mediocre lifting. Then you saw coaches started to talk about coaching, and you saw the original CrossFit videos doing demos. And like before that, it was really hard to find a video of someone trying to coach you through a lift. It was like YouTube was like just coming up. You had Vimeo, not much video sequencing on how to do the lifts. And like, give props to CrossFit. Coach B and his daughter and some of the others, you know, the Catalyst gang, like they were all really on that front edge wave of like making it accessible and viewable and giving coaching tips and stuff like that. That was kind of like good back then. We were seeing coaching being done by people that had been doing it in the sport. And that was good then. Then we started to get ugly. Okay. Then fast forward a few years to where we are now. We have everyone on social media, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or Facebook even, hashtag masters athletes. I'll throw it out there. I am one now, so I'm attacking myself. You literally have people, because we all do it. People do it. It's the fucking most fake environment in the world. Only posting their good lifts because that garners likes, and only talking about the good days because that garners likes. And it has led to this toxic fucking world where athletes and coaches think that it's all fucking rainbows and butterflies. And this extends so much further than just the daily routine. I have said recently, and I'm actually having like a paradoxical moment right now of realization. I have said, I think I said it to a local coach here the other day, finding hard people in our sport is actually getting harder. And I've joked around about people, they come in for like our barbell basics or our learn to lift program, whatever we want to call it. And I actually flat out say, because I'm like just a truthful dude, I'm like, so what made you choose one of the most complicated sports and most stressful sports to pick in your mid 30s to start? Because I'm enamored by it. Really. I'm like, hey, this thing sucks. It is physically and mentally abusive in every way, shape, and form. You're going to have way more bad days than good. You might have some mediocre days in there, but that's dependent on you, how you proceed and soaking in your training days. What made you decide to pick that up versus like fucking beer league volleyball with your friends? Instead, you decided to like come train with a barbell with strangers and just get dunked on every fucking day by gravity. I have to ask. And I get a slew of answers. Everything from it looked hard. Well, guess what, motherfucker? It is. To I've never been strong. That's a great answer because they've at least accepted the reality of like they're not going to the nationals. They're just trying to get strength. And like, but they see a lot of these people, like younger especially, they see their phone, they see Instagram, they see all this shit going on, and it's just good lift, good lift, good lift, happy, happy, happy. And then it comes to training time, and it's not like that. It is like a fucking rose in no man's land in World War One. That's what you're looking for, is a good day in weightlifting. A rose in the middle of two battlefields that have just destroyed each other. That is what a good weightlifting day looks like if you are actually an athlete. Fuck, mic drop right there as far as I'm concerned. So social media presents this mirage, if we will, that it's gonna be easy. It couldn't be further from the truth. Social media presents this also very dangerous thing that here's a coaching tip from John. I don't fucking know. Samantha. Who is Samantha or John? I don't know. And I'll tell you one thing. Unfortunately, because the way it works, generally, I'm not going to say them. There's a few variables that can get Sam or John just being viewed way more. And I think we all know what they are or what they could be. And both genders are guilty of it. Or they aren't coaches. They're just athletes that suddenly shift to coaching without ever coaching before. So they're just throwing out tips maybe that they think are right that are actually incorrect. That's a dangerous thing. Or worse, you have people from whole different sports, cough Louis Simmons, just fucking tirading into ours because, social media allows it. And because they have X amount of followers and influence in another sphere, they just shift over and start talking about this one like they're a goddamn expert. No different than like Jordan playing fucking basketball and then going to baseball. Like, it don't matter if Jordan played baseball when he was younger. He was not good enough for the MLB. That played out. And like, could he have? I guess, yeah, potentially. But it's generally not the right way to go about it. So the social media game, it's done a lot for our sport, but it's also now doing all this other shit. And then when it comes to psychology wise, our athletes, strongly opinion, are starting to believe certain things. They're starting to believe that all these elite athletes only have good days. They're starting to believe that, well, this girl of the same age as me can do it, so I can do it. They're starting to believe that, oh, well, he or she lives a certain way, I should do it the same way because I like how it looks. They're starting to believe that, oh, I hopped around 7 coaches and then I found it. So I'm going to hop around, or they hopped around, so now I'm going to. None of these actually are correct. There might be like a 1%er. You're always going to have outliers when you have data, right? This creates a really, really dangerous training environment, mentally and physically. And you have athletes that need to understand that this is a long-term sport. It is a hard sport. It is very brutally abusive on the mind and then the body. And then they get on their phones and they scroll through and they just see success after success after success after success. And they're just, why do I fucking suck so much? Why am I not good enough yet? Why can she do it when I can't? And there are so many variables behind the scenes. And you know it, athletes, coaches. You know there's lots of variables, but you don't accept them because there's a weird thing about human psychology. We like to believe what we see, not what we know. It's why eventually you get to a point and you're like, well, I want to see Santa Claus. And then after that doesn't work anymore, you're like, show me proof that there's Santa Claus. Social media provides all that right away to you. You see a lift being done, so you're like, damn, that looked easy. I can do that too. Or damn, that looked easy. And they did it again this week. They don't see maybe a week of fucking misses. They don't see maybe 6 months of injury before that because nobody posts that shit. Very rarely does it. It's quote unquote vulnerability. And we don't want to show that off. That's dangerous. Makes us look weak. You guys need to understand that the social game is a facade. As a business owner, it is a necessary evil in today's world. It's a necessary evil because the way people are and human psychology. It all comes down to human psychology. You need to understand that people are going to go on their phones and they're going to Google gyms near me, weightlifting gyms near me, Olympic weightlifting near me, lifting near me, lifting Livonia, wherever you are. Google and its bots are going to populate based on probably 3 parameters. One, if anyone's got enough fucking money to buy the Google AdWords, they win right away. 2, whoever has the most content utilizing the name of their gym and or the meta tags and all that shit and SEO and has done well enough to take time to do it for their content to populate before anyone else's. And 3, if you're the only motherfucker in the area, you're getting it. Good job, you win. And like I'll ride that cartel for a long time. I won because I was the only one. It was super easy. You got to do it to a degree. You just need to figure out what is the degree you're going to put the effort into. And on the backside, is it taking away from what the core fundamental of why you started fucking coaching in the first place to have your gym? If you are a coach and gym owner. If you're a gym owner and not a coach, get the fuck to work. That's what I'm going to fucking say. If you're watching this or being sent this and you're just the gym owner and you're the manager, get the fucking work. That's all you. Get in there, make the content, whatever type of content you want to, but do the work and get the meta tagging and do your fucking job. If you're a coach, this is where it becomes tricky because your priority should be coaching your athletes. It should be continuing your ed It should be taking care of your athletes and then the other stuff. Because that's the first fucking reason they came to you, because they heard that you were a good coach. Not because you were good at social media. And definitely not, this is one of my favorite ones, you lifting heavy does not make you a good fucking coach. Let's say that again. You lifting heavy does not make you a good fucking coach at all. They are not even in the same fucking wheelhouse. What you do have is the ability to talk about, if you competed, emotions and feelings and stressors and things like that you went through as an athlete, that maybe a coach that hasn't done that, you have more experience on. But that does not mean you know how to watch a barbell and see it move and manipulate through time and space with a human organism, and then long-term program out with a plan that works as much as somebody that has coaching experience. Now, will you get there? Yeah, potentially. Keep working on it. I'm not knocking working on it. But to sit there and ever say that because you lifted heavy, you're a great coach, don't stop. Pump the brakes. Check yourself. So the social media game as a coach, to sum that all up, you've got to determine how much effort you're going to put into it. Now, where it can be pros of social media, because I don't like bitching without a solution. I think that's arrogant, or you're just being lazy. If you want to bitch about something and not create a solution. So maybe social media should be used this way. Creating content that your users hopefully will actually watch. So find out how they absorb content and then go like that. So that's what I'm doing to solve my own issue. I'm going to do no more long form typing. That day showed me most of my people don't read. They don't have the time. They're at work. They're scrolling through. They're driving. So I'm done typing long-term type up write-ups. And some people like it, but a majority of mine, it's not what they do. It's not what they want. So I'm done with it. And timestamp right here, 11:32 on the 19th. We'll see where we are in a month. And if my metrics are up, because I stopped typing and just started talking, because people don't want to read, which is a whole nother conversation where the world's heading. But so find out what content they're going to do, and it's probably going to be easier for you also. Athletes should use social media to connect with other athletes and talk to them about training. I know, talking to strangers, it's like a double-sided sword, right? You're not supposed to. But reaching out to maybe some of these athletes that you do watch, that maybe you think only have good days, maybe ask them, be like, hey, how long did it take you to get to this number? Or, hey, how long have you been lifting? Hey, what age were you when you started? Or did you play any other sports? Or, hey, what was the hardest part of your training this week? Things like that, where it's actually like real conversation and not glammed up. You'd probably get a lot more out of that as an athlete. And probably learn something too, which is just going to help your own athletic career. Coaches. Hell, man, reach out to other coaches. Like all the greats that we watch that are great coaches, that are OGs, and we'll just talk USA weightlifting. Like I'll name drop a shit ton of them. Like they didn't just start yesterday. And if you have a coach that generally like just is flash in the pan because something happened, look them up, man. They're probably not coaching, or they were in and out real quick. Like your greats that have been around, and I'll call them the greats, they've done a lot. They've done a lot for the sport. They've done a lot for athletes. Those up on a pedestal, they're there for a reason. And it's probably because they put out quality content that was good. And they did a lot of really good coaching. They were not out there doing thought shots or picking political battles to purposely stir the pot, and or just showing them lifting fucking heavy all the time and being like, look at me, I lift heavy, you should do my shit. Not saying these methods don't work. I'm just saying longevity wise, probably one is going to keep these people going longer than the other, and some validity to it. So when it comes to social media, I think you guys should be careful with it. I think it is one of the greatest things to help weightlifting, and also one of the most poisonous things to our future as a sport when it comes to athletes and coaches mentally. And I implore you guys to utilize it correctly, whether you're a coach or athlete. That's it. Hopefully this helps someone out there. Have a good day.